Welcome to Corona Stories from Observing the Process. I'm your host, Alex Greenberg. And before we start, I'm hoping you can help me out by supporting the show. You can do this by going to my website, observingtheprocess.com. For just $5 a month or $50 for the year, you can become a monthly supporter. This show relies on listener support to stay on the air. So if you find this content valuable, I hope you will consider subscribing. You can find a link to subscribe in the description of this podcast. If you can't support monthly, no worries. You can help out by rating and reviewing on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen. You can share it with your friends, you can blog about it, or discuss it on your own podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to my channel and like this video. Thank you for supporting the show. Listeners like you make it possible. If you are looking for information on how to protect yourself and stay safe from COVID-19, please get information from the CDC or the World Health Organization. Today on the show, I had Vicky Yang. Vicky is based in Fuzhou, China. Please welcome Vicky Yang.
In the land of China, people hardly got nothing at all.
No possessions?
And in China, they never go to church.
No religion too?
Or do magic.
Well, it's easy if you try, Dick.
Hello.
Hey, Vicky, how are you?
Hey. I'm fine. How are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm here in New York. You're in, is it Fuzhou, China right now?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, Fuzhou.
I see. You know what? I've actually always been curious. I have a friend from Fuzhou, and there's a reputation that it's quite hard to get a visa to America from Fuzhou. Have you ever heard about that? Like, especially for women?
For women? No, I never heard about that, actually.
Yeah, it's strange. Because my friend is married to an American, and they've had a very difficult time getting her visa to come to America because there's a strange stereotype that a lot of women actually don't return back because they seek to just get out of Fuzhou. Yeah, I was curious if any locals heard about that.
Oh, really? No, I never heard about that. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I have to ask some other people. Anyway, so we can jump right into kind of the topic of the moment. So before we do that, could you introduce yourself, where you're based, what you do for work, that kind of stuff?
No, my name is Vicky. I'm born in Hong Kong. I lived there for about 4 years, and I moved to Europe for 10 years. And then I moved back to China in Fuzhou because in Fuzhou that's where my parents are born.
So you've been in Fuzhou for the past 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, around 2 or 3 years.
Okay. When did you first hear about the coronavirus?
When the doctor, the first doctor that discovered the virus, I heard about that.
So you heard about it through the news, or you heard about it through friends and family?
Friends and family, actually.
And do you remember around what time it was? Because in America, we didn't hear about it until, I would say, end of January. But I think in China, people obviously heard about it quite a bit earlier.
Yeah, I heard it, I think, a week after it got discovered, I think.
Yeah, because they were saying it actually, like the first reports of it in China were actually in December. And this is kind of a bit of the controversy, is that the local government of Wuhan was kind of silencing people for talking about it. And especially Li Wenliang is, kind of the highlighted person. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that whole situation, your thoughts on the Chinese government, kind of silencing people and making him sign these documents saying like he's spreading rumors, and just kind of share your thoughts on that whole situation.
Well, I don't want to say that much because I don't want to get silenced or something. But I think it was very stupid of the Chinese government to do that, because it caused it made a lot of people lose their lives, I think, as well. And if they didn't silence the people, I think the coronavirus would be gone by now. I think probably maybe.
Yeah, it could have been maybe you know, contained a little bit better. Yeah. Do you know anyone from Wuhan?
No, I don't.
Okay, so I guess we can jump into the timeline. You find out about the virus, and then how does it affect your daily life from there on out?
I used to go to downtown Fuzhou like every week, something to go hang out with my friends. But now I cannot do that anymore.
Right, of course. Is it still like that right now, or are things kind of returned to normal?
It's kind of returned to normal because I heard from my mom that China said, the Chinese government said that there are 0 cases in Fuzhou anymore.
Right. Yeah, I've read that only new cases are pretty much cases coming into China. There's no new domestic cases. That's kind of like in general when I look at the news, they're saying that, which is, you know, pretty impressive and almost hard to believe, to be honest. It could just like stop happening.
I thought it was Photoshop when I first saw it.
Right?
No.
Yeah, quite hard to believe. What are your thoughts on the media and how they're handling the situation? Because in America, we have, you know, so much information coming at us constantly about the situation. It's almost a little overwhelming. It is definitely overwhelming for how much information we get. I'm curious, as you know, someone who lives in China, your media is quite a bit different than our media. So I don't know if you follow Western media at all, but if you do, could you please, you know, compare a little bit and then, talk about that kind of stuff.
Well, I don't know if it's the same in America, but in China, they like send you direct messages through the DMs in the phone or something. They send like directly through that, and then they just spam you the whole day, like stay at home, wear a mask, wash your hands, and all that type of stuff. It's very annoying, and they even call you sometimes.
Oh, really? Like a robot calls you, or an actual human?
A robot calls me always.
Right. So it's just a robot. It's like kind of a recording type situation.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because, you know, I've lived in China for 5 years. I just haven't been there the past couple months. And I'm pretty used to getting, you know, a ton of text messages and stuff like that. Not related to anything as serious as the virus, but like a lot of ads. It's actually it's very different from the way it's done in America. In America, it's pretty easy to avoid getting, like you can get your name taken off for this kind of stuff, but it's definitely nothing coming from the government. It's only very serious stuff that comes from the government, like Amber Alert, which is like a missing child, or But for again, getting back to the media a little bit and how they're handling the situation, to my understanding, the way media is done in China, it's all actually state media, meaning it's connected to the government. So I'm just curious what local media that you're getting your information from, if you read it, how does it compare to the media that's in America?
In China, they most of the time just say how we have isolated it and how it's not doing any harm anymore, and like all those positive things about China mostly, like how China did this so right. And
so it sounds like it's more like they're patting themselves on the back, and it's like very positive messages.
And when in America, I think they're more saying like, it comes from these wet markets and that's eating Chinese people, which I think is really painting a bad picture of Chinese people.
Yeah, I see. In terms of how different cultures handle this pandemic, that's something I always want to ask my guests on the show, because I think there's a huge contrast between the way the China is able to handle a pandemic like this and the way America is able to handle a situation like this. So I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to the way the general population handled the situation, them coming together, working together, your experience on how this was handled over the past couple months.
Everybody just wears masks, and some people actually use the hand sanitizer. And that's it actually.
Pretty much
avoid big crowds. Yeah, and that's it. Not much actually.
Well, one thing that
stay home.
Yeah, one thing that I noticed is like a difference in respect of elders. I think what's interesting in China, from what I've heard from other people, is, for example, when they instituted the garbage policy where you have to separate your garbage and recycle, that was done so quickly. And what they did is have elderly people kind of volunteer their time to instruct people on how to do this. And from what I've heard, something similar was done in communities. They had elderly people kind of instructing the local communities how to do that. Now, this is in Shanghai, so maybe it's quite different in Fuzhou. But go ahead.
In Fuzhou, it's pretty similar actually. You see like those when you're in the elevator, you see those ads, right, on the TV screen or something. Yeah, and then you will see those ads from you need to sort your trash, and then you see those elderly people like teaching like 6-year-old kids or something.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. You know what I'm realizing? It sounds like it's more of a unified message, while I'm feeling in America there's a lot of different messages from different media companies or news companies. They just feel like media companies, but they're technically news companies giving us information, while I think it helps a lot to have one unified message like you guys have experienced in China, actually. All right, Vicky, thanks a lot for your time. So as we start to wrap up, I'm wondering if you could talk to me a little bit about what you think the future will hold. Yeah.
I think China will be more careful with those markets now since the corona outbreak, and I think there's still going to be some racism in the future, but
yeah,
but I hope that will wear off.
Yeah, that's a difficult situation. All right, Vicky, thank you so much for your time. Talk to you again later.
Yeah, no problem. Bye.
Bye. Boom. That's it. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this podcast valuable, there are many ways you can support it. The best way is by going to my website, observingtheprocess.com. For just $5 a month or $50 for the year, you can become a monthly supporter. This show relies on listener support to stay on the air. So if you find this content valuable, I hope you will consider subscribing. You can find a link to subscribe in the description of this podcast. If you can't support monthly, no worries. You can help out by rating and reviewing on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen. You can share it with your friends, you can blog about it, or discuss it on your own podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to my channel and like this video. Thank you for supporting the show. Listeners like you make it possible. If you are looking for information on how to protect yourself and stay safe from COVID-19, please get information from the CDC or the World Health Organization. Also, if you enjoyed the intro and outro music, it was made by my brother, Danny Greenberg. You can go and check out his beats on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, or SoundCloud. He goes by the name Estoric, E-S-T-O-R-I-C. All right, that's it for now.